Thank you for tuning in to Savon Speaks. I am Savon. I am the founder. And what Savon Speaks is about motivating and empowering and uplifting women who is facing adversities and setbacks in their lives and help them find their purpose so that way they can create a healthier and more desirable lifestyle. And so I know a lot of times we get caught up in, as women, we get caught up in our daily lives of being a wife, a significant other, having kids, and some of us have more than one that plays multiple sports, and we have them, and we're trying to be in two places at one time. A lot of times we're taking care of our loved ones, and overall we lose ourselves, and we lose our purpose, and we lose our what we want to do because we always put others before us. So Savon Speaks is about pulling women back in and helping them find their purpose. And I created Women Winning Wednesdays for women who I consider successful. And when we talk about success, we're not talking about material things. We're not talking about big houses. We're not talking about big cars. But we're merely talking about success as in accomplishing a goal, successfully accomplishing a goal. And that could be something as simple as, finding your peace. It could be something as simple as, setting out to earn your degree, getting a promotion and working towards that. Something so simple. And I think society has steered us away from what success actually means, because we see on social media, we see the big booties, we see all these fancy cars, we see all this money and stuff like that. And we kind of get in this place where we feel like we have to have that. And we lose focus on what we're really supposed to do. And a lot of people don't understand that our purpose is not our own. So with that being said, I have an amazing show for you guys today. I have some beautiful women that have come together to help celebrate Savon Speaks. And also I have an author, public speaker. She is also a life coach. And she's going to be coming on in a second and gracing us with her presence and, talking about success and what success means to her and her calling and her vision. And also taking us down memory lane with her of a moment of transparency where she talks about her challenges, her past challenges that led her to her journey to success. I'm a strong believer that our experience in life help molds us and create the path that sometimes we get on a detour and we get shot off our path that we are destined to be on. And I think our experiences help make us respect what it is God has for us even more. And we also have a great performance by Miss Tiffany Davis, who is going to be performing with us a little bit later. So you guys stay tuned. We also have a gift basket giveaway. We also going to be giving away the Pace of Grace workbook with that. So it's going to be an amazing show. And I thank you guys for tuning in. For all you new people who are coming in and tuning in with Savon Speaks, thank you, welcome. And for those who have been supporting me on this journey, I thank you. We have upgraded. You guys are keeping me on my toes, definitely. But I hope that you guys continue to support, continue to show love, and just continue to support. So during this interview, you are able to interact with us. I do have my laptop here to be able to see you guys comment if you have any comments for Tetia. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome my beautiful guest, Miss Tetia Torres.
Darling.
Hi, honey.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. Thank you for coming. So Miss Tetia here is a new author.
Yes.
I'm so happy for her. She is a speaker, and she also is a life coach. So
Certified.
Certified. Signed, sealed, and
Yes,
delivered.
honey.
So tell us a little bit more about you.
What do they want to know? Everything?
Well, what you
A little
do.
bit of snippet.
Yeah.
So as Savon said, I am a newly published author. I am a certified life coach and purpose coach. And Amanda deemed me the purpose pusher, so I took on the name and I'm running with it. I'm married to my wonderful husband. Y'all pray for me though. Married to my wonderful husband for 6 years. We have 5 children. I got a whole bunch of kids, girl. I got a
You
whole
look great.
Girl,
You look great.
honey. Grace of God. This is the grace, right? The face
That
of grace.
snapback is real.
That's where the grace comes in at. But I have 5 children. My husband and I run a small commercial cleaning business together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I know that, God has ordained me and charged me with pushing other women into their purpose. And I believe this is the season where he's birthing a lot of the vision into a lot of people. I'm looking at my timeline and I love it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, girl. And I hear that. God is birthing a lot of winners this season, especially with COVID. I see a lot of people pushing their business and getting out there and doing their thing, and I salute you.
Thank
and
you.
all
Thank
that you
you.
do. I didn't even know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't even know you all had a cleaning business.
Yeah.
So
So I don't talk about it a lot. Yeah, most people don't know.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just put all my business out there. But yes, we do have a small commercial cleaning business.
That's what's up. I love how you two, I'll talk about that later because it's just one day, God.
The
one
crazy,
day, God.
right.
I know you are in a position now where you are a new author.
Yes.
And you're a life coach and you've been doing your thing. And I know you reached out and was like, hey girl, I'm coming out with this book and I want to be able to talk about it on your platform. So I was just so honored that you
I'm honored
reached
you
out
have me.
reached out to me and consider Savon Speaks, and that's what's up. So let's go on a little journey because I want women to understand that challenges come. Everything is not easy. No one said life was going to be easy. And they never said weapons wasn't going to be formed against you. They just said they won't prosper.
Yes.
So I want people to understand that, or women to understand that, they're going through things, but they're not the only ones who have been through challenges in their life. And a lot of times when we're going through it at that moment, we feel that no one else knows our pain.
Right.
Nobody else
It's
is
just
going
me.
through this.
The woe is me, right?
So that's why I created Women Winning Wednesday, so that other women could see that, it is light at the end of the tunnel. I want them to see their position now and then look at models like yourself and me and see like, oh, okay, well, if they made it through that, I know that I can.
Right.
And just motivate and empower them to be able to take that leap of faith and go out there and do what it is that they need to do. And it's okay to be selfish with yourself and put yourself first and do what it is that you love doing and want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
I know we're going to get a little bit personal, but
I'm an open book.
thank you.
Hence
I
the
know
book.
you said, and so I know we shared a few things and we have some things in common.
Yes.
I know we talked about when you were younger that you had experienced molestation and rape and being a teen mom and things of that nature. So I just want to, I know that with COVID too, a lot of young kids, because the molestation usually are when you're younger, are home, and it's usually by people that you trust and that you know. So with the kids at home and things of that nature, I know that somebody's child is experiencing it. And for us, sometimes it's when we get adults is when we talk about it. And there's been some women who I talk to that are like 45, 50 years old and still haven't told anybody. You know, and it's because it's a family secret a lot and it's swept under the rug.
Right.
So in your situation, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and what happened? And
yeah, so it's so crazy because I originally thought that it happened at the age of 5 or 6. And I was recently talking to a family member and I discovered that it started happening at 3. And this family member told me that I had said something to them and they thought I misspoke because I was 3, right? You know, 3-year-old kids, you be talking like, girl, what you talking about? Let me be quiet. And essentially I had described something that me and the abuser, a game we were playing.
Right.
And, this family member just thought I misspoke. And when they told me what I said, I understand how they would say, no, that's not what you mean. You sure?
Right.
So that was enlightening. So when I found out, it started at 3. So I have a 1-year-old, you know, my daughter would be 1 on Saturday, and in that moment I looked at her and I couldn't imagine her being exposed to something like that in 2 years.
Right.
So with that being said, it happened very young. So, you know, you're talking about before I even had an idea
Right.
of anything. I'm being exposed to something that obviously at a 3-year-old, no 3-year-old is emotionally prepared to deal with that.
Right.
And of course, with that, it leads you down the path. And when I look back on it, I feel like I died before I even learned to live life.
Right.
And my journey has been coming back from the dead and waking up from a slumber, because I can remember at 6 and 7, the way I began to cope was to tell myself, we're not here.
Right.
And I would disappear. But what happened is those coping skills from 6 and 7, I took into my adult life.
Right.
So now I was a 26-year-old disappearing, right? Problems
Right.
happen and things happen, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to shut down.
Right.
And the way I explained it to people was, it almost felt like somebody came and turned the light off.
Right.
So in my workbook, I talk about purpose, and I call it when we go from weeping to walking, right? And it almost takes you from this sad and this dark place and this enlightenment, right? You come to this place where now everything makes sense, and the joy, the right joy comes in the morning. So I feel like going through that experience put me in the night of my soul, is kind of how I look at it now. And I thank God that he brought me to the morning, right? The morning after, you know, joy comes in the morning. But yeah, it was traumatic, if I could put a word to it. Very traumatic, and it left me with a low self-esteem, worthlessness, I mean, you name it. The first time I ever looked at myself and thought that I was beautiful was actually a couple years ago. I was looking at my daughter, and for the first time, I truly could see my reflection in her. Right. And I said, oh my gosh, she's such a beautiful girl. And, you know, of course, everybody's like, oh my gosh, she looks just like you. And for the first time, I was able to look in the mirror and say, no, you are beautiful. But that traumatic experience, right? It almost robs you from experiencing yourself. So my journey was
away your innocence.
Exactly, and having to find that again, and having to relearn things again, relearn, you know, loving. You know, my relationship with my husband, I had to learn a lot of things because my first interaction with that physical experience was a traumatic one.
Right.
So
was there anybody that you went to that you tried to tell that they didn't believe you, or was it like just?
So I didn't even know, I knew it wasn't right.
Right.
But I didn't know it was wrong until I was in school. Okay. And they were playing the videos, right? You remember the videos they used to play, if anybody touches you, this is wrong. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, I believe I was in the 4th grade. Right. So it wasn't until then that I really knew it was wrong. You know, you always know it's not right because it feels weird and you're told to keep it a secret. But it was then that I knew it was wrong. And I confided in a family member, and they went and told. Okay. And I'm so grateful that she had the courage to do it, because I can't say that I truly believe that I would have told. Right. So it was a family member that told.
Okay. And so, like, I know you said that kind of like trickle on in your life. So like now,
honey, let me sip my wine to that. Lord, go ahead.
So now I know that, you know, moving forward, and you're dating, and you know, you talked about being in a relationship, and he raped you. So like, again, your innocence is taken away from you. So can you tell us about that? And at that time, did you go back to that little girl?
So I was still that little girl. Okay. So let's talk about that. Like I was literally still that little girl, and in that moment, I didn't realize that is what happened, because this was my boyfriend. Right. And I was still in that space of worthlessness, right? So it was almost like when it came to sex, almost I was powerless, right? I truly didn't understand it. It almost had no meaning. At some point, it became the way I coped with life. So it was almost like this, I don't know how to explain it, but it was
going with the flow.
I don't even know what to call it. Y'all pray on me on that. I'm gonna find it. But essentially, I was still that little girl at that moment before it even happened. And like I said, he was my boyfriend. So at the time, because he was my boyfriend, at that moment, I couldn't put that word to it. Oh, I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't put that word rape to it. And that was another thing that took years before that light bulb went off, because I knew it wasn't right. I knew it was forced. I knew he took advantage, right? But it wasn't years later, and I think I might have been watching Oprah. Like, well, all these, right? Because I wasn't talking to anyone, so I'm learning from videos, from TV. Like, child, it's so sad. But I think I was watching Oprah, and I said, oh my God, so you can be, raped by a significant other or a boyfriend, because I had never heard that. And when I stopped and thought about it, at that moment, it took me back. Because now, not only have I been molested by a family member, I was also molested by a neighbor. So at the age of 7. So now I have this family member, a neighbor, and now a boyfriend. So now I'm looking at me, and I'm blaming myself, right? Now it's like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? So now at that point, now I start pointing the finger. But that was devastating. It was a low, and it almost made me feel like, okay, this is just who you are, right? This is who you are. This is what you have to offer, and this is all it's ever going to be. So yeah, that one was a tough one. And I didn't really start talking about that. I think my husband was the first person I ever opened up to about it, and that was probably a couple years ago.
I just want to say, that silk press, girl.
Girl,
it got bounce to it, and the way that light is hitting it.
Don't do that. Now.
Girl, I'm just saying.
Brittany, I get brand new in the salon. I'm like Brittany.
I've been asking her to grow my hair for years. I'm still bald. What's going on?
Come on, Brittany.
We're gonna have to have a
reach
talk,
out to
Brittany.
my girl. She'll get you right.
I know Brittany. I know Brittany. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, girl. I'm that brand new.
It's flowing. It's flowing. So, definitely about the, I understand what you're saying about, you just feeling like, maybe this is just you and what's going on in your life right now, and, people just taking advantage of you. So at what point did you feel like, with all that happening to you, did you feel vulnerable to people? Was it like, some people have different effects when they get molested or they rape. Some are wild and some are more reserved. Which one were you when that happened to you?
I was a little bit of both. I'm not lying to you. So for the most part, I was very reserved, and most people that have known me for a long time, they'll tell you that for a long time, very shy, very quiet, would almost disappear in a room. And the truth of the matter is I didn't want to be seen. I can remember in high school, I always walked with my head down in the hallway, and I couldn't take people looking at me. And I'm still a little weird with it, just a little bit weird. Confidence is up there. It's just the weirdness. I don't know, Lord help me. So I was very reserved for most of my life, and it was almost like it took my voice, right? It took my power and it took my voice. So what happened was I experienced people taking advantage of me in every aspect of life, whether it was a friend, whether it was a man. It didn't matter, right? Because that worklessness, right? I'll let you do what you want and say what you want. And then I met some women, and I was, wow. It was only about a year, but I was wild.
You were a woman? Is that what you said?
I
just want trying to make sure
No, I met some women.
Oh, okay.
A group of girls.
Okay.
And they introduced me to the wild side.
Okay.
So then I was wild. That only lasted a year.
Okay.
So I experienced that side of it too, and it was almost like that I don't even care, F the world type of mentality is what I took on. And that was a person I didn't recognize, but that was when I first experienced some sense of power, right? But it wasn't bringing me anything good to me, right? So now I'm digging myself in a deeper hole because now I'm thinking this is power and this is how I should be, and it brought on a different set of issues. So I experienced a little bit of side of both of those walks.
And how old were you when you had your first child, when you got pregnant?
I was 19 when I got pregnant. And I think I had just turned 20 right before I had him. Our birthdays are 15 days apart, so I had just turned 20. So yeah, and that challenge, God, Makai, my child, I love him. I feel like we grew together, but Having my child, honestly, I feel like having him is what made me begin to look in the mirror. Because when I looked at him, I said, okay, I can't continue to live like this.
Right.
I have to do better so that you can have better.
Right.
And I was so hurt and so sad and so depressed. And I didn't want that for my child. And he was the reason why I said, okay, I have to try, at least try. And then of course, his father, God bless him, but really, it's not an active part. So then I had that struggle of being a single parent. RG&E getting cut off, Lord, the eviction notices. Thank God for my dad, though. Shout out, Dad. But yeah, so, having a child at a young age and then postpartum depression.
Right.
Another thing, Oprah Winfrey, shout out to Oprah, okay?
Right.
Watching Oprah's when I learned that I was dealing with postpartum and I was 3 years into it then. But yeah, that single motherhood at a young age was definitely a trial.
Okay. So, with that being said, now you are a married woman.
Snaps, honey.
Now listen,
Snaps.
Miss Tetia is married, okay, and she posted some pictures, and she was getting ready for her shoot to promote her book, and she posted some pictures, and her husband was right by her side, fixing her hair. He had the brush.
Girl, he was touching up
he
that
was
beat.
touching it up, okay? And I just thought that was the cutest thing that, you have somebody by your side that is helping you bring forth your vision. And, y'all but definitely is the CEO and the COO.
Yes.
And, and learning about your cleaning business on top of that, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So, like anything, I know that a marriage isn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? I know some challenges come about. But since y'all do everything together,
Yes, honey.
we're going to talk about this together. And we have Mr. Torres
Mr. Torres.
in the building.
Come on now.
And he's going to come up here because I feel like it's only right. Y'all
Yes.
are a union.
Yes.
And so y'all going to talk about your problems that y'all face together.
Yes.
And, and basically, everybody welcome Mr. Torres.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, look at him. Ain't that so cute?
He's so extra.
Ain't
He
that
can't
so
help
cute?
it.
I know he was sitting in the audience, y'all, just to clap and go, break a leg, baby. You got it, baby. So I think that is just so cute. But I definitely want them to be able to come on and talk because I, for one, ain't married. Don't nobody want to marry me.
Okay, stop it.
But what I do want to say
God is
is
preparing him, girl.
me and God gonna have to talk after the show, but definitely I want people to understand that challenges come, and especially with us being young, we see stuff and we just like, okay, divorce before the pen is even dry.
Child.
And a lot of our grandparents and stuff, they spent 50 and 60 years together, and they go through everything together. You know what I'm saying? Hell and hot water. And for you guys, I understand that you guys had a little bit of challenges in your marriage. Well, I'll let y'all talk about that. Yeah. But I just want people to see that, challenges can come, but a couple that made it through and able to be a power couple after they done experienced some of the things that you guys have experienced, and, what inspired y'all to do better. And so this is, so tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you guys faced in your marriage, and how you guys got over it, who spoke into your life, because I know you posted about a young lady who's, ministered over y'all, and I just think it's awesome. She is a role model here in Rochester as well. So I just want you guys to, be an example for other marriages that's probably struggling, and, here you go.
I'm going to go first because I know you're a little long-winded.
I don't even know where we're going to start.
Right. So I don't know where to start either. The beautiful thing about us working together, and I honestly was just thinking about it recently, we met at work. So he had just gotten hired at a company that I was working at, and I gave him his tour. So I was the first person he met when he came to work. So I think that I definitely believe that was God setting up the dynamic that we have now with us all. We do everything together as
Right.
far as work, which
I
is
can see
super
that.
dope. It's super dope. However, my mister, it's interesting. We had a ton of struggles in the beginning, and one thing I can say from hearing from other friends is that he always believed that I was his wife when I met him. Took me a couple weeks, a couple months for the Lord to speak to me, but God did show me and revealed to me early on in our relationship that this was the man that he sent to me. However, God also was very clear on the instruction, and I was disobedient. And what began to happen is there's consequences, right? There's blessings for obedience, and then there's curses for disobedience.
Definitely.
And we had a whirlwind of trouble. Primarily for me, we struggled with infidelity. And anyone who's married, that is a very, very difficult thing to come back from. And I think it may be one of the only reasons in the Bible that God says that you can separate. Yeah. And God wouldn't let me leave. So, right, I'm crying like, Lord, take him, Jesus, it's over.
Take him, not take him.
Just take him. I don't care how you take him, Lord, like, just take him. And God was very clear on telling me I had to stay, and I didn't understand why, but God would begin to minister to me through our relationship.
Right.
And what he was doing was he was showing me the true definition of love and how to forgive someone and how to love someone through an issue. And this is not me encouraging anybody to stay in a situation like that, but if God is giving you that unction, right?
Right.
Because it is very difficult. But what I can say to our testament is that God was in the center, and we did separate, and that's when I met Amanda, and I was done, child, I was done. And she heard me cussing them out. I was a cussing saint, y'all.
Ooh,
And
I was
a cussing saint, girl. No, I was in the room. I was in the room with the door closed. This is a long situation where we were, but I was in the room with the door closed, and I was cussing them out. And she's so gracious. She waited till I was done cussing them out.
Thank you, Amanda.
But she came in the room, and I think it was at that moment where I decided that if we made it, that I would be open about my marriage, because she shared with me her testimony.
Right.
And you look at it, her family on social media, they are dope. Her husband is dope. The family is beautiful, it's perfect, and I would have never known. And she was vulnerable, and she shared her struggle with her marriage, and then prayed over me. And I went home to my husband after that trip. We were on a trip together, and here we are. Hallelujah.
Here we are.
Here we are. You want to share, Ms. Torres, your perspective?
I don't even know where to start except, when I had thought that I did not want to remain married to her, I asked her to leave, and she left.
Oh, you ain't see that coming, huh?
No,
No, he was real. Like, he was like, girl, bye. Like, we done.
Yeah, I said
He's
go,
like, I'm
and
done.
she left, and
Girl, he took me to breakfast. Hold on. He took me to breakfast and broke up with me. Okay, I'm
Well,
done.
at least he made sure you was fed.
Bye.
and I was under the influence.
He was.
God says
After
feed
the
the
club.
needy, okay?
It's like 3 o'clock in the morning after the club.
I lied. I was lying. So I had sobered up. Her son, my son, her son said, I'm staying with Will. So he and I had the house. But I would wake up every day in tears and empty and lonely. And I remember on the 3rd night in, I got on my knees and I literally just prayed and sobbed. And I asked God for some sort of sign, and sure enough, that's where I met my pastor. My pastor was like, nah, we about to save your marriage. So I had brought the divorce paper. I had already filed the divorce
dang.
paper.
They
I
signed
told
them.
them.
See, that's them light-skinned men.
Yeah, right? And girl, he signed them too. They signed. They still got his signature.
But I had got the paperwork ready, and during that week where I was just having second thoughts, and I saw how happy she was without me, I was like, wait a minute, bro, like this is not happening. So long story short, it's when I started getting right with God. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm some sanctified.
He's sanctified.
But I believe in the Lord, and I believe in His magnificent power. My pastor was like, I went to a Thursday night teaching, and it's where I presented to him my divorce papers. I said, I don't know if I want to do this, and I left my paperwork on the altar with my pastor. And he said, that was a Thursday. He said, come tomorrow for marriage counseling, and I got my baby.
They set me up is what they did. I was like, oh, he gonna bring me to a church for counseling? I was like, okay.
I think my
You
message.
couldn't curse up in the church.
I think to my message to any man out there who's confused but has already taken those steps and married the woman of their dreams, or the woman that God has put in front of them, is that don't give up hope and grow up. And that's the toughest thing I had to do, is look in that mirror, ask myself, am I who I want to be, and grow up. Yeah. And because real men don't cheat.
Tell them.
It's kind of cliche, but real men don't cheat, and we're all vulnerable at times. But at the end of the day, when you have someone who values you as a person, she took me in. I was facing prison. I was on probation. I was going away for a few years, and she stuck by me. And I truly believe if it wasn't for her, what's it called when you get involved? You're intermediate. What's the word?
Intercession?
If it wasn't for her intercession, I'd be a different man with a different life path. So
with a different woman who ain't me.
Toe tag. So yeah.
Oh, thank God that you two.
If I can add one more thing too, when we separated and came back is when I understood that I do. And I think at that moment we truly made the decision that we were going to do life together. And you truly understand those vows, better or worse, right? And I tell people, when you get married, that's more so what it is. I choose to do life with you, whatever that means. And I think that's why we stick it out now, because I want to put them out sometimes.
Well, let me just finish. With this. And I'm out. I read a book. I forgot what it was called, but one of the first things they teach you in this book is that a lot of times, especially us younger men who get married, we tend to want to run first sign of problems. We want to just start all over or start with someone fresh. We don't really think about the kids. And I learned in that book that a lot of times people want to get divorced or separated because they think that separation will bring them happiness or happiness to the family, which is absolutely wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, we won't advise anyone to stay in an abusive relationship or anything like that. But if we're talking about infidelity, which is still very serious, and any other things like that, money or decision making or anything like that, those things you can overcome. And it's important to keep the family dynamic together, because who knows who's coming after, who's going to be taking my place and being in charge of providing for my daughters, which was huge. It was a big decision maker for me in wanting to shape up, because I didn't want anybody else to come in and tamper with what's mine. So a lot of that.
So what's his, girl?
Yeah,
that's that Puerto Rican.
But with that being said, so I decided to follow some very, very strict guidelines that my pastor has shared with me in this book that I was reading. But yeah, I would rather tough it out than be a coward and run away, because that's easier to do than stick around.
Yes, Mr. Torres. You may go.
Thank you, darling.
Set up. Cue number 1. All right.
Yes.
Now, we reached a level of success here where we are now an author, and we are certified, and we have a great book. So the book is called The Pace of Grace, honey. So what inspires you to write your book, your workbook?
So to be honest, I did not set out to write this when I wrote it. And it's so crazy how God works. But once I got saved, I really began this journey of finding my purpose. I didn't even realize it until I went through all my journals and notes, but it almost became an obsession. Like, it was all I wanted to know was, why am I here and what am I supposed to do? And I had gotten an invite to speak at the Ep.1 Women's Conference that just took place a couple weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I've been giving this training for a few years now, and I said, okay, God, I can't give these women everything in an hour and a half, and I don't want to leave them, with not enough. So I began to write a handout, and it was 90 pages. So I said, well, God, let's talk about how my money is not that long yet. I cannot print out. And then it looked like this. I was extra with it.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. And I'm looking like, okay, God, I went to Staples. I said, okay, it's $50 to print one of these out. So I began to pray, and I'm like, okay, God, now I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. And he said, this is the book. And I said, okay. So then I went back and really had to get into it and check my facts and my notes and my scriptures. And he had me go back through my journals and back over my journey. And he had me put in my testimony, all the revelation, all the books I read, everything that I studied. And he had me put it into one complete work. And it is me walking individuals through their journey and their process and getting that aha moment as to why they're here, and more importantly, what it is that God has for them to do.
Okay. So, you interviewed me for your book.
Yeah, I did.
And I thought it was pretty dope. And I'm like, oh, she think I'm successful? okay, oh, damn.
Yes.
But I appreciate you for, considering me to be one of the successful women in your book. And I know that you have a lot of them in your book, and I just appreciate you. I caught the tail end of it, but I am a witness of the hard work that you have put in. I am a witness of you working from 7 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night.
Yes, honey.
And even before we started interviewing, you was like, my husband, either it's a meal or I'm sleeping on the couch, something, because you're spending just all your time. And I just want to congratulate you,
Thank you
on this big accomplishment and the hard work and dedication that you have put into your book.
Thank you.
So with that
Girl.
being said, Miss Tetia. I'm sorry.
Well, that's Mrs. Torres. She can call me Miss Tetia. He's so
Mrs.
extra.
Mrs. Torres. Mrs. Torres just put me in check on my show. Okay. So I want to congratulate you and Mr. Torres, please. I wanted to show the pretty table over there, but okay, well, Mr. Torres. So anyway, let me stand up here for a minute, because you can put it up here. So child, don't let me fall.
fall now.
I know. We definitely want to congratulate you on your success and your hard work and dedication that you have put into making your workbook. I know, I wanted to surprise you, like, because you did a big, girl. And I think this is a big accomplishment, and a lot of women don't recognize other women and their hard work and their dedication. And sometimes when we come out, people are like, oh, she just started writing a book, and not knowing that not everything is displayed on social media. And sometimes we just patiently waiting, like your book say, the pace of grace. You took your time to come up with what it is that you want to do. You did it behind the scenes, and when it was time to explode, you exploded. And so this beautiful cake was designed by a 17-year-old Ashley Duncan. Please don't hurt me, child, but I tried to rehearse it, but I can't pronounce stuff well. But Ashley, she's only 17. She made this beautiful cake for you, and I just want to tell people, I don't know if you could get a close-up on here, but anyway, it has her title on here. It has a road leading to success, purpose, calling, vision, some other stuff on here. And I really want to congratulate you and all that you're doing.
Girl, thank you.
I didn't even that short.
This is dope, Savon.
So,
oh my God.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a beautiful performance that is coming from the beautiful Tiffany Davis,
Yes.
and these handsome fellas. So you make your way to the stage and show out. I hope you guys got y'all tissue. Cause I got some, because I heard the sister could blow.
Yes, she can.
Yeah?
Yes, she can.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, thank you guys for tuning in. Please stay for the performance. And I'm also going to name who won the gift basket. And the gift basket includes bed and bath. What is it?
Bath and Body Works.
No. Bath and Body Works? Maybe it's better. It's too rich for my blood. I don't even shop there. So listen, that's what's in there. Savon Speaks mug, 2 bottles of wine, some wine glasses, a dinner for 2 at Da Vinci of Greece. I done ate there every week this month. I gained 15 pounds, y'all. Some candles, also a a certificate to get a full face beat from Miss Olivia Travis, and also comes with the Pace of Grace workbook. So, we'll be announcing that right after this performance.
There's a love so high that you cannot get over. That's a love so wide, it'll take forever just to get around it. But love died somewhere behind that cross you wear, and you're afraid
is a beautiful gift card for a full makeup beat. If you like my makeup tonight, Miss Olivia Travis did it, and it's a gift card in here. So the winner of this is Miss Amy Mason, who won this. She reposted the flyer and tagged Savon Speaks in it, and it also comes with a book of The Pace of Grace. I would give your name to Mrs. Torres, so that way when the books come in, it'll go directly to your house. So I'll pass on your information so she could contact you. And also, I would definitely like to give a shout out to Legacy Drama House. You guys did an amazing job. I thank you guys for coming through for me. If y'all guys looking for somewhere to rent out space, I'm telling you, this place is beautiful and they set up is lovely here. And I thank you guys for bearing with us. This is our first episode of Savon Speaks Women Winning Wednesdays podcast live, and we're doing a whole different look. We're trying to turn this into a talk show, honey. So I'm gonna be the next Oprah. But anywho, thank you. I appreciate you all who have been rocking with me. I'm sorry this is the first episode, so it's a few hiccups, but we will get better. I know the sound, from what I was reading, the sounds was going in and out, and we'll fix it the next go round. I thank you guys for with the performance. Oh, and don't worry, because we caught it live on camera with the performance, so if we went in and out, it's gonna be posted later for you guys to see it without no interruption. So don't worry about the live. I got Metro PC, honey, so the service go in and out. One day I'm gonna make 6 figures and be able to afford Verizon where it works in the elevator, but not today. Like I said, thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Torres. Thank you, Ashford Films, for looking out for your girl. Thank you, Miss Sylvia Kutsky, which is my assistant pastor, for doing the lovely decorations here. Just the whole crew for helping my vision come to life. I'm just so happy. Thank you.